Hello, this is RJ Buchanan, and we're going to talk about in this lesson how to send follow-up emails to your candidates as you're carrying them through the success cycle. Now, obviously, before you can send a follow-up email, you need to have contacts and candidates that are already uploaded into your EcoBusiness Professional Center, your contact management portion of your EcoBusiness Professional Center. And what we're going to talk about first is we're going to talk about how to load candidates into your contact database, and then we'll show you how easy it is and how simple it is to send a follow-up email, again, as you're taking people through the success cycle. Now, what you want to do first is you want to log into your EcoBusiness Professional Center's back office, and when you log in, you will be into what's called the Professional Center or the dashboard. And if you look up across the top, you're going to see the toolbar, and you want to click on Contacts in the toolbar. Now, before I talk about how to actually get candidates and contacts into your database, I'd like to draw your attention over here to the folder tree. Now, these folder trees are set up to help you to effectively manage your contacts as you're carrying them through the success cycle. Now, with that being said, you will notice that emails E through O actually set up just like your success cycle in the actual recruiting process. You'll see that we got the first touch, the second touch, and the third touch folder. We want to call our leads at least 3 times. We have learned that people live busy lives, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that we call them that third time, because you'll find often that the person that you're looking for is the busy person, and they're successful for a reason, and we certainly are looking for people who have been successful in their past. So you want to make sure that you call your leads up to 3 times, and that's what the first touch, second touch, and third touch folders are for. Now, you may be asking what these HP folders are. HP stands for high priority. Now, as you're calling your leads up, your first and second, third times, and you're leaving messages, and then you're going to send the follow-up email after each message, they're going to respond back to that. And what that means is that they become a high priority on your list. Still doesn't mean you still have to go through the sorting process. You still have to interview them. Doesn't mean that they're going to automatically become a business partner, but they had enough initiative to at least respond to either A, your voicemail, or either B, your follow-up email, which means that they become a high priority when you sit down to call your leads the next time. Now, you'll also notice that we've got an AM, a noon, and a PM. Now, in your messages and the follow-up emails that you are sending to them, you are asking them for the best time to give them a call back to schedule the interview. Now, they're going to respond with either the morning time or the afternoon, or maybe the best time is in the evening. So hence, it allows you to effectively know and manage these contacts who moved up the priority chain, and you can just put them in the AM for the morning, the noon for the afternoon, and the PM for the evening leads. Now, that covers these folders. Now, you'll also notice that you got your first interview, your second interview, your unit setup call, your partnering call, and your business planning call, which rounds out the different steps of the success cycle. Now, with that being said, folks, is we need to know how to get contacts into the database, and basically there's 2 ways. And the first way is you can actually add them manually, or depending on the lead source that you may be purchasing leads from the for the direct response advertising, most of these lead vendors allow you to download a file to your computer, and then you can actually upload those into your EcoBusiness. Now, with that being said, I want to put a disclaimer in here, folks, is that you need to make sure that you are using the proper leads. We strictly prohibit any spamming, and in fact, if you're caught spamming, folks, in other words, you can't go out and buy thousands upon thousands of these little cheap penny leads and think that you're going to upload them, because there are controls in place in your EcoBusiness that will prevent you from doing that as well. If you are caught doing that, then you risk losing your subscription to the program. Now, with that being said, we want to go ahead and talk about the first way to add a contact is in the manual mode. So you'll look here at the blue toolbar, and you will click on Add Contact. Now, when you click on the Add Contact, a contact record is actually going to appear on your computer. Now, with that being said, is you'll notice that you've got different fields for name, first name, last name, email addresses, phone numbers, and what have you. Now, let's imagine for just a moment that we're going to have a contact or a candidate that we want to add, and let's call her name Jane Doe. So we just simply type it into the appropriate field. Her email address is janedoe@yahoo.com, and then her phone number is 555-123 4, 5, 6, 7. After we have all the appropriate fields, you can see that you can put in your address or what have you, you just simply click on Save. Now, when you click on Save, you'll see that the contact record has been created for you, and you're going to notice here that you've got an Everyone folder, and you notice that she's not there yet. But let's go ahead and let's refresh it there, and you're going to see that we've got the Everyone, and there is Jane Doe, the contact that we just added. Now, that is one way to get contacts into your database. Now let's talk about the other way, which is to be able to import from a file that's saved on your computer. Now you'll notice here on the toolbar, you're going to see the tools with a little drop down arrow. When you do that, you're going to see that it changes, and what you want to do is just simply click on Import Contacts. Now the import wizard will pop up here, and the first step is that we've got to go to your computer and we need to upload the file that we actually want to be able to import that contains the contact. So we click on the Browse folder. Now what I did was I saved, and you can see here on my desktop I've already pre-saved a file, and this is actually a dummy file, and I put it in a folder on my desktop called Lead. So I will click on that, and then there's the actual file, lead vendor file, that you received from your lead vendor. Now obviously you will change this to the name to help you keep in to be able to keep track of the different leads and the different files that you get from lead vendors. And so what I'll do is I'll click on that. You'll notice that it goes into the file name, and then I'll go ahead and click Open. And then what that did was that put that file that I downloaded from the lead vendor to my computer. Now it put me into the first step of being able to upload it into my EcoBusiness database, and I click on Next. Now the import wizard now wants to know, where do you want that folder? In other words, remember our folder tree over here? Which folder do we want to import that? Well, obviously, if we're going to do, this is a brand new file, so we're going to put them into the First Touch because we haven't actually called any of these leads yet. So when you click on Browse, you're going to notice that your folder tree will pop up, and then you just scroll down and we put them into that First Touch folder, and then we click OK. The next thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to match the fields. Now you'll see that these are the different fields that are the columns in the fields that the actual file is in, and these are the fields. Remember the fields that we just filled out just a second ago manually? These are the fields that are in the contact record of the EcoBusiness Professional Center. So what we do is we just simply will scroll down, and I don't worry about a lot of this stuff. I'm going to hit Name, which is the first name, and you'll notice that the Apply Matching. So I click on the Apply Matching, and that means that from my file the name will be mapped to the first name, which is the first name is the contact field in my EcoBusiness database. So what we'll do is last name, we'll click on last name, Apply Matching, and then we got address, city, state, zip for time purposes. I'm just going to skip a lot of those. We're going to get phone number. We're going to come down here to home phone, apply matching, and then email address, and then we want it to go into the email address number 1 and apply matching. So now that we've mapped all our fields, you'll see the button here that just simply says to import. So we click on import, and you'll see here that 7 contacts were successfully imported into your First Touch folder. Now with that being said, you can come down here and you click on your First Touch folder. You've got to give it just a few minutes or so, and then it will actually import those leads into your folder. Now with that being said, let's go ahead while we're waiting that to import the different leads, and let's send an email, and let's imagine that we've got John Doe here. Now I actually went ahead and loaded John Doe as a contact, and you're going to notice that I put the address as cwfhtrainer@ecobusiness.com. Now obviously John's email address is not going to be cwfhtrainer@ecobusiness.com. It could be a Yahoo, it could be an Outlook, it may be an AOL, whatever their internet service provider email address will appear there. Now there's a couple of ways that we're going to do this. We can go to John Doe and we can click on the email hyperlink. Now when we do that, we want to make sure that we also make sure that you have all of your pop-up blockers turned off. Now that's very critical because you're going to see in just a moment that we have a replace dialog box that will pop up to be able to send this email to John Doe. Now with that being said, what we have done is John Doe's email address has come up in the email window, and we want to send a follow-up email template. Now what's interesting is that these follow-up emails have already been pre-written for you. They're already loaded into your EcoBusiness, and they follow certain marketing principles. In addition to that, these follow-up emails save you a lot of time. So we have these templates preloaded for you. So we go up there and we click on Load Template. Now when you load template, you're going to notice another folder tree that's actually in the Files tab up here, and you're going to notice that it pops up. Now you will see that we want to send a follow-up email, and you're going to see a folder titled follow-up email. So simply click on that in the folder tree. Now when you do that, you're going to notice that the available email templates are already preloaded for you. And let's imagine for just a moment that we just sent and just left John Doe a first message. So we click on a first message, and you'll notice that it went into the file name, and let's click up Open. Now this is where you'll notice that the replace dialog box will appear, and it's going to ask for your phone number. See, your EcoBusiness is predetermined with your toll-free number. However, that is a marketing a tool that's available in the EcoBusiness. If you was doing direct response advertising, you may want them to call a toll-free number, and that toll-free number is Greg Montoya, a recorded information call with Greg Montoya. So we replaced the dialog box. We don't want them to listen to Greg's message. So what we do is we put in your phone number, and let's say your phone number is 555-234-5678, and you click OK. Now what I want to do is I want to draw your attention to something. You're going to notice this pound first name. You also notice, my first name, my last name. You're also going to notice, my first name, my last name, my email address. Now these are what's called merge codes. You do not have to physically go in and type this information. These are automatically going to populate for you, and I'm going to show that to you here in just a moment. So now that we're ready to send the follow-up email, you just simply click on Send. Now you'll notice that it sent the follow-up email for you. Now the reason I've got it coming to CWFH Trainer is because I want to click over here to the inbox. Now just imagine that this is John Doe's inbox, and what I want to do is I want to show you here the merge codes. So if you'll remember, we had these merge codes up here. It said it said first name with the pound sign. It automatically inserted John's name. It automatically populated it there and there. And then also it notice it says that my name is CWFH Trainer. Now with that being said, whatever your name is, it will automatically put in your name, and then there again automatically put in your email address. Well folks, that's how simple it is to send a follow-up email. Now let's go back and let's check and make sure that we have all of our leads imported that we imported from the lead vendor file, and there they are, folks. Now one other thing that I want to show you here real quickly, remember I talked about that it was a very effective to be able to send and manage your contacts. So let's say that we just left Tony a message. Now what we want to do is we left him a message, we send the follow-up email, and you'll notice that we got our second touch folder. Now what we want to do is if you highlight Tony's name, and you'll see the move button here, click on move, and you're going to see that your contacts folder tree will pop up again. Well, we've already left him our first message, so what we want to do is we want to put him into the second touch folder. And what we did is we took him out of the first touch, and when we sat down to make our second calls, we click on the second touch folder, and there are all your contacts to be able to make your second calls to. Well folks, I trust this was helpful to you. I want you to know that you can do this business. Everything's in place. You've got a professional marketing system to help you manage your contacts as you carry them through the success cycle. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you on the next call, and we'll see you at the top.